Hello everyone, and welcome to the second part of drawing every Pokemon from memory. That's right, no references, no looking up, no cheating. This is all from my head. I started the first generation just as something to get me out of art block, but at this point, drawing all of the Pokemon from memory has kind of become just something fun and light to do on my live streams. So if this is something you're into, I've actually started the third generation, so you can join me on Fridays and watch me struggle because the third generation has not been kind to me, let me tell you. But I guess you're gonna have to wait to see about that on part 3. But until then, let's talk about this second generation. Overall, I think the second generation was just as easy as doing the first generation. Now, I know I used the word easy there, and I'm not saying I did a perfect job by any means because there are several mistakes. However, considering the feedback I got on my first generation piece, a lot of people made me feel like that they had no idea what the first generation looked like. I got so many comments saying I had a good memory, and I just can't help but think, don't you like Pokemon too? Like, I don't know. I guess, like I said in the other video, this isn't my first rodeo. I've drawn the first generation of Pokemon several times. This isn't my first time drawing all of the Pokemon, but from memory, yes, this is something new, but I don't know. Pokemon are so dear to my heart, I feel like, of course I remember what they look like. How can you forget? I've spent hours playing these video games. I've spent hours replaying the remakes of the remakes of the remakes. Of course I know what they look like. I don't even consider myself that huge of a Pokemon fan, but I don't know, maybe I just have a good memory. So just like the first piece, I started off by making a grid out of the sheet of paper. Now, the first generation I worked on a 16 by 20 because there were 151 Pokemon on that generation. This generation only has 100, and it felt wrong to put them on the same size of paper because that meant each Pokemon would be bigger, and it felt wrong because I feel like the first generation deserves bigger. They deserve better, so I decided to work on a smaller piece of paper and have them a little bit smaller, even though I think I do like this generation more, but the first generation, it's special. It deserves to be bigger. So that means the second generation and all future generations are going to be on 11 by 14, which means these Pokemon were just barely over an inch each, and the third generation is just under an inch each, and I am not looking forward to drawing them that small. Well, sorry guys, looks like all future generations are canceled. Go home everybody. I'm quitting the third gen. No more future gens. They are just too small to draw. Okay, let's talk about the biggest goofs I made because I think there are a couple of things that I find a little too funny. So aside from the obvious mistakes that I made, like the patterns on Natu or the patterns on Spinarak, stuff like that, that's not that important. I got their body shapes right. It's just the patterns or their fur shapes and stuff that I didn't get right, which that's a boring mistake, so I don't really find those goofs to be all that entertaining. I think the most entertaining, I don't know if it's stylization or just I didn't know what he looked like, but Scizor kind of looks like a combination of him from Powerpuff Girls. Those claws and then those like legs that kind of look like they're wearing shoes just reminds me of him from Powerpuff Girls, and I thought that was pretty funny. I thought I was going to mess up the legendary dogs a lot more than I did, but honestly, they didn't turn out too bad considering this was from memory. Obviously, they're not spot on, but you have to give me credit where credit's due. They're not terrible. I mean, could you do better? Don't say yes. Oh, did you notice what I spelled out with the unknown? I wanted to do something a little bit more funny, but I couldn't think of a 3-letter word that wasn't, you know, something like poo. I didn't want repeating letters, but hey, I did what I could. Wink wink nudge nudge. And then the poor grass Pokemon like Hoppip, where I forgot their ears. Not the first time I've left out a Pokemon's ears. Why do I keep forgetting ears? I hope it's not too obvious, but I think I put a little extra TLC on the Pokemon that I really like. So my favorite Pokemon of all time is actually Ampharos, which is in this generation, and well, okay, yes, I made those drawings look really good because I love them. Alright, well, how do you guys think I did with the second generation? I hope I didn't disappoint you too much. Let me know in the comments below, which Pokemon is your favorite out of this generation, and which mistake is your favorite out of my goof up. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!